Now, getting into drama, a lot of these classify more as other things than as pure traditional dramas. That's just kind of how I roll. But here's a really interesting one to start us off with Sure Dure Children. It's kind of like Gamers, as pretty much aired at the same time, being a sort of odd counterpoint to it, as it's a more romantic melodrama between teenagers. But unlike Gamers, which focus on one particular group of teenagers, this one's more of an anthology focusing on different other groups in shorter formats, as it's originally based off of 4 comma. It uses this shorter format to explore different types of relationships, from ones that are well established, newly formed, ones that are having a bit more trouble, and ones that are getting off the ground. Basically, allowing each episode to focus on different relationships here or there, as well as different romantic issues that each of these children have. And similar to Gamers, it's pretty funny because it's a group of pretty overdramatic teenagers trying to figure out this whole love and feelings thing, which, let's be honest here, no one's really good at, especially at that age. Why I think this is more of a drama series is because there are a lot of actually touching dramatic moments, especially when it comes to some of the more established couples, such as when an established couple does break up for 5 minutes, mainly because they don't really understand each other, and then get back, promising that they'll try their best to understand one another better, which is honestly pretty touching. Overall, it's surprisingly good to have not one but two anime that focus on romance as well as these two. And while I don't say it's the best drama of the year, for being more of a comedy, Zure Dure Children is still a pretty, really great drama series, while also being quite funny. Hey kid, do you want to go down Uncle Lovecraft's murder hole? Okay, we done with that joke? Because I'm gonna beat that horse until it's all the way dead. But anyway, seriously, do you want to go down into the abyss? Made in Abyss is a surprisingly serious series. Similar to Madoka, it uses the trappings of cute moeiness to mask a rather deep and very dark series, where you'll see some truly messed up and shocking scenes, like watching little kids melt into a fleshy living puddle that can only squeak to communicate, which is surprisingly cute despite its horrific origins, or watching our main heroine begging for her friend and ally to take off her arm to stop the poison that's slowly killing her, as she bleeds from her freaking eyes. The Abyss is a monstrous as well as wondrous place, filled with so much mystery and danger, it's really enrapturing despite how deadly this place turns out to be. But like anything, it's mostly the character interactions that make it a truly dramatic piece. Reg and Rico are one of the most enjoyable pair of protagonists I've seen in a minute now. Using their combined abilities to survive in a hellish environment, and well, you can see their effort. You can also see the strain that being in this place puts on them. How sometimes they might go in unprepared despite all their abilities, and sometimes they just are in over their heads. The Abyss is a dangerous place, and that's something that the series does emphasize. And I think that's for the best. You wouldn't really feel for their struggles if this was all easy for them, but because this place is such a hellish environment, it makes it a much better drama to see them actually survive in here, despite all the hardships they come through throughout the series. Honestly, if I had any major complaints for this series, it would be the ending. Similar to Hero Academy Season 1, it just kind of ends, while hinting at something more happening, and hopefully we'll get that something more soon, as they just announced Season 2 a few weeks ago. If, that's to be believed, I really just want to continue this trip down the murder hole, because it's a very interesting place, and these characters are interesting to see explore it. And I really hope this series has a better ending next season than this one. Seriously, can we stop series that just end abruptly, please? The next one in this list, World, and it's pretty anomalous, especially for me. I'm not the biggest fan of light novel translated anime. They all tend to be pretty standard and generic, with only a few of them standing out to be something entirely different. Like Gamers, how it changed just one element and focused on something else, making it a better series in my opinion. In this case, World is very similar, because on the surface it seems like it'd just be another piece of light novel anime trash, but instead it becomes an actually good anime. Okay, let's talk about the plot for a quick second. In a world where 500 years ago the human race went extinct at the hands of terrifying beasts, Wilhelm is the last surviving human dealing with the loneliness of a situation before he's suddenly tasked with what remains of the world government, a group of monsters, with becoming a caretaker group of young leprechauns who look very similar to humans. Because of this, they can wield the last remnants of humanity, the ultimate weapons that can fight back against the beast. However, they don't really have much of a sense of self and self preservation, which is what lets them wield these weapons in the first place, as these weapons will slowly kill them. So their fight with what little life they have for protect what little life remains in this world that's actually slowly dying. This is a really interesting piece, and it is interesting to see how these people try to survive in their last few days on Earth in the world that's ending around you. Wilhelm himself was a pretty good main character who takes the role of a father figure quite seriously, and of course, like any series, has a bunch of little girls around him, but he actually treats them like a father figure, trying to do his best to help raise them and take care of them. Caught the Lily, I honestly can't pronounce her name, it's meant to be spelled weird, is an interesting main girl, despite hoping to be seen as an adult by Wilhelm and developing feelings for him. It's understandable considering the fact that she's going to die sooner rather than later, and she doesn't really have time to wait for him to see her that way. It's honestly interesting to see these two develop a relationship over time as he originally sees her as a child before getting to know her better and realizing that she's pretty much grown up, if not physically, accepting her inevitable death that's coming sooner rather than later, and trying to find one thing left in the world that she can call her own. Man, this series can be interesting if you delve deep into the characters. And I honestly say overall it's a rather touching series with some surprisingly well done fight scenes and a very serious and touching ending filled with really great character moments. If you're looking for something that will make you cry your eyes out every so often, then I highly recommend World End. Something that I find kind of odd about myself is my enjoyment of Josei series, as I'm definitely not in the target market for them. I've said this already, but I find Josei series to be some of the more interesting things to come out, considering the fact that they seem to tackle more broad subjects than seinen, shonen, and shoujo manga, mainly because of its adult cast and its more human sensibilities instead of going for action or drama and focusing more on drama. And here we have Recovery of MMO Junkie, which is a strong Josei series that I was gravitated to instantly. Now for plot, Moriko Morika, and can I just mention I really love her name. It's really fun. She quits her job and decides to spend her time playing MMOs with little to no restraint. Basically, the real world's become too stressful, and she decides to delve into video games because that's the only relief she finds in life at this point. Again, finding solace in MMOs, she eventually joins a group called Fruits de Mur, making friends with the group and the guildmates as she becomes closer and closer to them. In particular, one guildmate named Lily. At the same time, she accidentally runs into a young businessman named Yuta Sakurai as he struggles to find solace in the real world. However, her close guildmate Lily is in fact Yuta, with the pair developing complex feelings towards one another because of their shared secrets of using cross-gender characters in MMOs and developing out feelings towards each other in real life. Of course, the main drama is the whole will they or won't they thing that happens between the two, and while I normally don't find this kind of crap interesting, it actually works here, mainly because Moriko and Yuta are just that are just that anxious of a pair of people that they honestly find it difficult to believe that someone else is attracted to them, especially Moriko. Their interactions in both the real and virtual world are generally interesting. It's interesting to see these two develop as a pair, making this series, which is about people connecting over the internet, which is really, really prevalent, especially in today's society, a better case. If you're looking for a rather cute tale that has some funny moments and some relatable moments, then this one comes highly recommended. Again, I just love Moriko's name. It's so easy to say. And my number one drama pick is, well, Kobayashi's Maid Dragon. Yes, this is my favorite drama anime 2017. While this is a primarily comedy-based series, similar to a lot of things, it has a lot more dramatic elements than not, and a lot of them really are quite effective. The story is about an office worker named Kobayashi, who meets a dragon while she goes on a drunken rampage, then thanks to the stress of her job. And After becoming drinking bites of the dragon, asks her to come to her place and be her maid. The dragon, wanting to find a place to be with and someone that wants her for her, decides to take Kobayashi up by an offer and falls in love with her. From there, it's basically about these two's changing lives and basically how they influence each other. Kobayashi coming more and more out of her shell and dealing with other people around her, and Toru the dragon becoming less self interested and caring about those around her. It's honestly an interesting case to see how relationships between people help change people for the better, and the various dragons that show up are very textbook examples of this. It's also interesting to see how the dragons, with the very medieval sense about things, slowly come to appreciate modern day humans as well as modern day technology and things like that. And yeah, all the characters are pretty enjoyable to watch, hang around and do stuff. The various characters are, again, the major draw of this series, and they're all fun to see do various things, from Kana being a child and going to school, Toru trying her best to seduce Kobayashi and be a maid, Luko and all of her pursuits, freaking Fafnir becoming a gigantic NEET. It's all just fun to watch. And of course, they have a bunch of cute girls, because what sells better than cute girls? Cute dragon girls. This is a lovely little slice of life, and it's a great way to relax after a long, hard day. Not every drama needs to be intense, some can just be pretty simple and relaxing, and this is probably why it's so best. Also, it has some really fun scenes that are just kind of hilarious.